and all the good. And that follows those Westerners to other countries. That perception is there, and that's how a Muslim should be. And that's what Islam does for someone who applies it in their life. They become praiseworthy, and it is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the path in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has perfected. It is the path which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. He sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the greatest individual, the greatest human being in history. He sent him with the greatest message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided us, the greatest book, the book of the Quran. So it is the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, you will find it in this path. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. You find mercy in this path. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wise. He's al-Hakim. You find wisdom in this path. He is al-Alim. You find knowledge in this path. And so on and so forth. Not only that, it is a path that leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the path you are walking on is praiseworthy in of itself, because your goal is the best goal. And what is better than going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the most high? What is better than that? This is what Islam gives to the person. This is how it transforms him and her. And in this regard, I want to turn our attention to Surah Ma'idah. And Surah Ma'idah, if we take a step back and look at its context, it is one of the latest chapters that came. Meaning this was after the conquest of Mecca, after the Muslims became the supreme power in the lands. Most of Arabia had become Muslim. Right? This is Al-Ma'idah. Al-Ma'idah shows us the climax that the Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ reached. But in order to appreciate that, we need to look at who they were when Islam first started. Look at the Prophet ﷺ when Jibreel first introduced himself to him. When he said, Iqra, read. Muhammad ﷺ. And the response of the Prophet was what? Lastu biqari. I can't read. I don't read. I'm illiterate. And he told him again, Iqra, read, 3 times. And he gave him the same response until he revealed the opening verses of Surah Al-Alaq. And then the Prophet ﷺ ran home to Khadija radiallahu anha. What did he tell her? I'm afraid Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to embarrass me. He is going to punish me. In which Khadija radiallahu anha responded saying, no, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never punish you. He will never disgrace you because you are so and so and so and so. This is where the Prophet ﷺ started. When he started giving the da'wah, calling people to Islam, what was their response? Even those who entered, the early Muslims, like Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, and Uthman, and Ali, radiallahu anhum, they were a little bit hesitant at first. They were hesitant. They didn't know, is this really the truth? And even when they entered, Aisha radiallahu anha said, if the first verses of the Quran were, don't do this and don't do that, our response would have been, we are going to do this, we are going to do that. But the Quran came bit by bit, piece by piece. It formed the theology in their hearts. It developed them through trials and tribulations. They didn't develop just by reading a book. They didn't develop their iman by living in comfort. They went through oppression. They were oppressed. That's how they started. They went through trials. They went through tribulations. They had to leave their homes. They had to endure the burden of immigration. And those who immigrated, they know how tough it is. That's what created their iman. And slowly, we get to Surah Al-Ma'idah, which shows us who they became. Surah Al-Ma'idah is the chapter which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the phrase, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu the most. Because now their iman was so strong. If they hear that, O you who believe, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls them, O believers, they answer right away. This is where they reached. Surah Ma'idah is the chapter which contains the verse, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. Today I have completed your religion and perfected my blessing upon you. This is Surah Al-Ma'idah. Because now the Muslims have fulfilled their purpose in Arabia. The entire geographical location had become Muslim. Now, what is it time for? To go outside of Arabia. Now they're about to meet 2 superpowers, the Persians and the Romans. They are about to enter lands or go to lands which the Arabic is not the native language. They are extending their reach now in order for you to fulfill your mission, simple things aren't going to work. You need to be role models. And Surah Al-Ma'idah makes us role models because it focuses on very minute, secondary, tertiary issues which most of us overlook. And look at how Surah Al-Ma'idah starts off. Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu. Oh, you who believe. Talking to me and you. It's not just talking to the Sahaba, talking to me and you. What is the first command of this chapter which seeks to make us role models? What is it? Awfu bil uqud. Fulfill, honor your contracts. Because how is someone going to follow a religion in which its people don't honor their agreements? How can that be? It just doesn't work. If you want to be a role model, if you want to be strong, have a positive image in society, then fulfill your contract. And amongst those contracts are what we call a passport. You know, the passport, the American passport, you sign it, right? What are you signing? You're signing a contract that you will be a law-abiding citizen, right? Isn't that what it is? And therefore, us as Muslims, so long as nothing in law contradicts our religion, which alhamdulillah here in America, nothing contradicts our religion, you have to fulfill that. And therefore, when someone comes and commits an act and kills people, know that they are going against this first verse, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to honor your contract with others. Honor your contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are a Muslim. You say La ilaha illallah. What does that mean? It means you are going to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says pray 5 times a day, you're going to do it. Because that's part of your agreement with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That gives you quality. When He tells you fast Ramadan, you do it. When He tells you not to drink alcohol, you fulfill that. Because that's part of your contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And some contracts you are forced into. You have no choice in it. Such as your contract with your parents. We didn't choose our parents. But regardless of who they are, we have an obligation, a duty towards them. And that's part of the contract which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to fulfill. So if you want to be Muslims who are strong, if you want to be the way we were before, then follow this and fulfill your contracts. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues by saying, أُحِلَّتْ لَكُمْ بَهِيمَةُ الْأَنْعَامِ. Animals are permissible for you, meaning to eat them. Now what does that have to do with this first phrase? In fact, the next several verses, 4 or 5 verses, talk about food. How you're able to hunt, when you're able to hunt, when you're not able to hunt, right? What are you allowed to eat? What are you not allowed to eat? Talks about food after talking about fulfilling contracts. What's the relationship? I pondered upon this and I came up with 3 things. Number 1, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fulfilled His part of the contract with us. And that He is going to perfect our religion. He's going to take care of us. Because He is Ar-Rabb. He is the Lord. The one who takes care of, the one who disciplines, the one who manages. He fulfilled that. And one of those fulfillments is food. He provided for us. And one of the basic necessities of any human being, of all human beings, is food. He has provided that for you. He has made it clear for you. So you take care of your part of the contract. Animals are permissible for you except that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recites upon you. And then the next verse says, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, la tuhillu sha'air Allah. O you who believe, do not do tahleel. I'll explain this in a minute. For that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made forbidden. The word hal in the Arabic language means to dissolve something or to untie something. You break it apart. So when you, for example, dissolve something, you're chemically breaking it down. When something is knotted and you untie that knot, you're doing tahleel. When you are in ihram, the garment of Umrah and Hajj, when you complete certain rituals, you do tahleel, you take it off. You're no longer bounded by the obligations of ihram. Right? It's telling us, do not take apart that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made forbidden. When you eat that which is permissible. Because eating has something to do with your own nature. And we know that phrase. What is it? You are what you eat. And subhanAllah, I found this phrase in Arabic classical books. Right? When you eat something, you take upon that nature. So don't eat that which is forbidden because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it forbidden because it's harmful for you. And if you continuously engage in that or eat that which is forbidden, you become worse and worse. It affects you. And number 3, the riches of this life are about to be open for the Sahaba. They are becoming richer and richer. Therefore, take care of what you eat, because now you're going to be introduced to things that you never had before. The luxuries are going to come to you. Your desires are going to try and take over you. So be careful about what you eat. Even though it might be small, even though it might be something minute, it has its role to play. And if you want to be role models, you need to take care of the small laws, just like you take care of the big laws. Do not dissolve what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made forbidden. Do not make it halal. Take care of that. Make sure you stay away from it. وَلَا الشَّهْرَ الْحَرَامِ. Nor disintegrate, nor overlook, nor disregard what's called the Ashhur al-Hurum. In the Arab nations, even pre-Islam, there were 4 months of the lunar calendar which they considered to be forbidden months, meaning they stopped warfare. You are not allowed to engage in any sort of battle. This was an agreement on a geographical level. All Arabs of the Arabian Peninsula agreed to put down arms during these 4 months so that people can freely trade. Because there was so much, skirmishes going on between the various tribes, it became very hard to trade. So in order to survive, they needed to put this system, this law, right, this international law, so that they can live about. And we take from this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored that. He told them, don't transgress the months of these forbidden months. Don't transgress them. Even though it's not a direct command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to fulfill our contracts. And one of those contracts was, we don't fight in these 4 months. And we take from this international law. International law is binding. Right? We agreed as Muslims with the rest of the world to abolish slavery. Therefore, we need to fulfill that. Because that's something Islam came with the goal of doing. We fulfill that, we honor it. So taking slaves is not something allowed. Even though previously it was practiced. Today, there is an agreement on an international level. Muslims are amongst that. So international law is binding. Of that, we don't transgress rights of others. When you enter a country, you enter on a visa. Right? You enter on a visa. That visa says, this country or this government allows so-and-so to enter, and they are under the protection of the government. And in Islam, we have a similar contract. Aqd al-Isti'man, we call it. Right? It's a visa which allows non-Muslims to enter Muslim lands, right? Under such a contract, in which they will honor the code of law in the land, and in return the government will protect them. So entering America, right, you enter on an agreement, and therefore breaking that agreement is something forbidden. So what that individual did in New York is no doubt something Islam forbids, and which we condemn. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. And in the same verse, just to skip down a little bit, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ أَنْ صَدُّوكُمْ عَنِ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ أَنْ تَعْتَدُوا. Very beautiful. Now the Muslims were the stronger force. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, don't let the injustices of a people cause you to do injustice. Don't let the injustices of Quraysh, who prevented you from entering the Kaaba, who oppressed you, who tortured you, who created so much propaganda against you, who attacked the Prophet ﷺ, don't let their injustices cause you to be unjust. It's not allowed. Meaning if they kill our innocent, we can't kill their innocent. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. And they don't kill a soul who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbid from taking place except with reason. Meaning a government does it, not some individual, right? So even though someone might perceive America's foreign policy to be unjust and whatnot, or the West is attacking Islam and they're killing all the innocent, even though they might perceive that, that does not give us the right to kill innocent, because Allah made it forbidden. There's not an agreement between two people. Allah made it forbidden. Allah said that that soul is protected by Him. Therefore, we have no right to take it. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ. Don't let your hate for a people cause you to transgress and to be unjust. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. And work together with one another. A Muslim doesn't isolate themselves. A Muslim doesn't not attend the masjid except once a year. They come to the masjid, they have a relationship with the masjid, with the community, in order to fulfill this verse. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Work together in that which is pious and that which is which accomplishes the goals of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Work together. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. And don't work together. Don't be a source of encouragement, right? In doing a haram, in doing that which is forbidden, or doing that which is a form of transgression. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. And be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is severe in punishment. Brothers and sisters in Islam, 23 years. Where was Islam? It started off as one person who said, I cannot read. And in 23 years, or less than 23, a little bit less, when they did the Hajj, when the Prophet ﷺ did Hajjatul Wada, how many people went with him? 100,000, over 100,000. In 23 years, Islam completely changed a geographical location. Completely changed it. They used to eat dead meat. They used to worship idols. They used to kill their daughters because they don't like females. This is what they were. Look at what they became in 23 years. And that is the force of Islam. And these individuals, we know who I'm talking about, ISIS and Al-Qaeda, how long have they been around? How long have they been around? Since the 90s? What has come about from their works? What has come about? How many masajid had they built? How many people entered Islam because of them? What have they brought us? Absolutely nothing. So look at these, the Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ, and compare them with these. It's very obvious. And there's no bigger evidence against what they do more than the biography of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from them, from their transgressions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our youth from such a ideology. A few announcements. Make dua for Sister Asma Mustafa, who passed away this week in Arizona. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive her sins, to overlook any shortcomings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise her ranks and to make her grave a paradise. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant her family patience and reward for their hard times. Make dua for Sister Sophia, I don't know how to say the last name, I'm sorry, who's having surgery, and Yusra, a 14-year-old girl who is really sick. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them healing. He is the healer, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them a quick recovery from the surgery, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them and increase their lifespan, to give them long lives, and to make them a source of happiness for their parents. OCIF's second session on Muslim funeral and burial is tonight at 7:30. Babysitting will be provided and refreshments will be served. My OC family hiking trip is tomorrow in Aliso Woods Canyon, Wilderness Park at 7 a.m. A waiver form is needed to be signed by participants. Pick one up from the office. Thanksgiving Interfaith Project with Temple Beth El and Shepherd of the Hill Church is on Sunday, November 19th. We are accepting donations today to cover the cost of food to pack 200 packages for the less fortunate in our local community. Please sign up to volunteer in the spreadsheet outside. Pillars Academy has infant spots and registration available with discounts. Students are selling lemonade and desserts outside, so please stop by and support them. Also this Sunday, the school is inviting you to join them at Borrego Canyon Overlook Park for their monthly hike. Ladies OCIF brunch is on Thursday, November 9th at 10:30. Inshallah, time changes this weekend on Sunday. And according to that, Fajr will be at 5:30, starting Sunday. Fajr is at 5:30, and Isha is at 7 p.m. Again, starting Sunday, Fajr will be at 5:30, and Isha at 7 p.m. We will keep Isha at 7 p.m. until next season or when the time starts increasing. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and to grant us guidance and to allow Islam to transform us into positive forces of good. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت، وعافنا فيمن عافيت، وتولنا فيمن توليت، وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك سميع قريب مجيب دعوات يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد، وأقم الصلاة.